What do you say when a great employee asks for equity, but I'm not ready to give away part of my company? Hi entrepreneurs, I'm Vicky Brown, and you're in the right place if you want to engage your team, boost your business, and grow your leadership muscle. You know, more and more employees are asking for equity. If you've got someone on your team who's worked in startups or just keeps up with tech culture, there's a good chance this conversation has already come up, or it will. But here's the rub. When you're a small business owner, equity isn't just another benefit to throw on the table. It's ownership. It's control, it's decision-making power. And once it's gone, it's hard to get back. So, if an employee says they want equity, how do you respond? How do you navigate the conversation with confidence and without losing sight of what you're building? The first step is to understand what's really behind the ask, because not every equity request is truly about owning part of the company. Sometimes it's about wanting to feel invested. Sometimes it's about recognition. Sometimes it's about trying to build wealth, because that's what they've seen other people do. The smartest thing you can do in that moment is ask, what's most important to you in your compensation package? That one question gives you so much insight. It shifts the conversation from a demand to a dialogue. You'll be able to figure out if they're looking for stability, long-term incentives, influence in the business, or something else entirely. And while they're getting clearer, you also need to be clear with yourself. Equity inside a small, privately held business doesn't mean the same thing it means at a VC-backed tech startup. There may never be a liquidity event. There may never be a payout. For some businesses, equity might never turn into real money. But even if it does, you're not just handing over the potential for a future check. You're handing over a piece of the company. And with that comes rights, access, influence. Depending on your structure, that might even mean a say in decisions, profit distributions, or how you run things. And if you're anything like me, a Leo, only child, and lyric soprano, well, I figured out a long time ago that when it comes to control of my company, well, let's just say I don't play well with others. That's why it's so important to know your boundaries before you walk into this kind of conversation. What are you actually willing to offer? What are you absolutely not going to compromise on? And how do you want to grow your company over time, with or without co-owners? Now, here's where a lot of business owners miss a huge opportunity. They think it's either yes or no, but there's a third option: finding an alternative that aligns incentives without giving away ownership. Maybe you explore phantom equity, where there's a financial reward tied to performance or business value, but no actual shares change hands. Or maybe you implement profit sharing, so when the business does well, your people share in that success. Or a long-term bonus plan that rewards loyalty and contribution with real measurable outcomes. You see, these kinds of programs let you reward people meaningfully while keeping control of your business intact. Now, when you present one of these options, the key is to stay collaborative. You might say, I'm not in a position to share ownership right now, but I do want to recognize what you bring to the table. Let's talk about how we can structure something that grows as we grow. Now, that's not just a compromise, that's leadership. Of course, if after all that, you do decide to offer some form of equity, well, stop right there and bring in your professionals. Do not try to DIY this. Equity gets complicated fast. You'll need legal input on your operating agreement, vesting schedules, buyback provisions, and what kind of equity you're even offering. Are you talking about stocks, options, units? Will it dilute your ownership? What happens if the employee leaves, or if the company brings on an investor? What if you want to sell? You also need to talk to your accountant or tax advisor, because all of these decisions carry tax consequences for you and the employee. And I promise you do not want to be on the wrong side of that surprise. Now, once you've had those conversations and you know exactly what's being offered, make sure it's in writing. Do not rely on a handshake. Do not rely on memory. Do not assume you're on the same page. Put the terms in an offer letter or agreement. Clear language, specific timelines, what it means to earn it, and what happens under various scenarios. Now, even if you do end up saying no to equity altogether, that conversation matters. It's a chance to reinforce your values as a leader, to be transparent, to show that you're thinking long term, that you're not just making decisions in the moment, but protecting what you're building for everyone's sake. Because as soon as you give equity to one person, you've set a precedent. The next hire might ask for the same thing. A current team member might hear about it and start wondering why they didn't get a piece. The whole structure shifts, and if you weren't prepared for that, it can throw everything out of balance. So be strategic. Don't just react. Take a step back and ask yourself how this decision plays into your company's future. Does it support your growth, or does it create complexity that you're just not ready to manage? Now, let's be clear. You don't have to give equity to be a good boss. You don't have to give away pieces of your business to create a place where people want to stay. You just have to be thoughtful, transparent, and aligned with your own values. You can reward contribution. You can build a loyal team. You can offer real financial incentives. All of that is possible without handing over ownership. Negotiation isn't about saying yes or no. It's about offering a clear leadership-driven answer that protects your vision and supports the people helping you bring it to life. That's how you lead, and that's how you grow. And above all, remember your inspired leadership is the secret sauce to having a high-performance team and a wildly successful business you'll love. I'll see you next time on Leader's Journey.